Yes, Dr. Ndiang'ui, how are you?
I am very well, Captain. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I hope that my listeners will hear you. I want to make sure that I get into a system that they can hear you. Can you hear each other? Professor Jerono, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Oh my goodness, you sound so good. It's like you're right here in Texas.
I didn't know you're in Texas.
I'm everywhere right now. I'm everywhere. All right. Let me see. Mofat.
Yes, how are you?
Man, you tell me the secret. I need to grow my things like yours. Yes, and my brother Kelly.
Yes. How are you? Thank you for having me here.
Man, this is interesting. It is Ndiang'ui. It's not me. It's Ndiang'ui and Professor Jerono. So they'll take us through. They'll tell us why they have us here. So, so meanwhile, I want us to take a minute from Dr. Ndiang'ui. Introduce yourself and tell us a few things about you. We want to make this as interesting as possible. Introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself. Tell us what you do and where you are. And, a few things that we need to know before we start.
Right. How much time do I have?
You're a doctor, so...
All right. Captain, is an honor once again for the trumpet to give us a chance to come here. As you rightly said, my name is Peter Ndiang'ui, and I am from a village called Madakwaini. It's in Nyeri at the slopes of Mount Kenya. That's where I was born and brought up. Then I went on and finally I landed in a place called Fort Myers, Florida. I am a university professor in the College of Education in Florida Gulf Coast University. I am also a very proud member of the board called Kesid. And when you give Dr. Jerono a chance, she'll explain what Kesid is all about. Thank you for having us here, my friend. Thank you.
Awesome. Do we go to Mofat Juma first?
All right. Thank you so much for having me tonight. My name is Mofat Juma Ongeri. I come from Kesid. Currently, I stay in Birmingham, Alabama, where I'm doing my PhD in chemistry at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. My interest in my area of interest in this given research is drug synthesis. So I mainly work on the synthesis of compounds which can be used as drugs in the human body. Thank you so much for having me in this given show.
Wow, thank you. All the way from Kesid, Nyaribari ama
Kitutu Chache.
Kitutu Chache. So na Kitutu Chache ilikuwa ya Ongeri Sam, professor.
Ongeri ilikuwa Nyaribari Chache.
Oh, okay. So kuna Kitutu Chache, kuna Nyaribari Chache.
Yeah.
Na zote ni chache.
Zote ni chache.
Thank you. Kelly.
Yes. My name is Kelly Chege. I am doing my PhD currently at Penn State University, studying agricultural and biological engineering, as well as international agricultural development. I'm first generation Kenyan. I was actually born in Birmingham, Alabama, and then my family moved to North Carolina, and that's where I started school before I ended up coming here. My dad's from Kimende and my mom's from Kirinyaga, and I am one of the student leaders for the KESA board.
That is very good. So from you, I'll come back and dig a few things because especially this time round when we have to deal with the young people, and I'll ask you a question later. Professor Jerono.
Good evening, everybody. And thank you so much again for having us here on the Trumpet of Hope. Thank you, Captain, and thank you, Professor Ndiang'ui, and thank you to the greatest students on the face of the earth, Mr. Mofat and Mr. Chege, who are actually on the student leadership for Kesid, Kenya Students in Diaspora, and Professor Ndiang'ui is on the board. I am the founder and the CEO of Kenya Students in Diaspora. I started this group in 2019 at the beginning, actually towards the end of 2018, because there are a lot of issues that I was being called for to address with students. Because I work in a university. Right now, I'm a professor and department chair of kinesiology and recreation administration at North Carolina Central in Durham, North Carolina, one of the universities in the UNC system. And I also have a program. I am also the president of Kenya Scholars and Studies Association. And then I also have my own program, the CEO and founder of Warrior, that is Women and Youth Empowerment. So that is how the Kesid was a branch of the youth. So I work with the youth, and one of the outreach programs is to students. We're looking at international students, student athletes, and first generation Kenyan American students like Mr. Chege.
Wow, thank you so much.
I
So
forgot to tell you where I come from. I am from Elgeyo Marakwet.
Elgeyo Marakwet.
All the way from Rift Valley, the great Rift Valley, Elgeyo Marakwet, to the north.
That is very good. I want us to make sure that we enjoy ourselves and we learn a few things. Guys, if you have any question for this great panel, please feel free to send a question. They'll be able to see they'll be able to see the questions. You can shoot any question right here so that we can have a debate. We can have a discussion. We have so much going on. So before we proceed, Professor Ndiang'ui or Professor Jerono, let us know, we started the program for Kesid. Let us know how far you have gone, and let's see. Let's know about the results of the campaign that you started with the Professor Jerono on assisting the international students in America.
Right. Let Professor Jerono start, and then I'll pick it up from there. Professor Jerono.
Yes. So yes, we're actually here to thank all the community members, to thank everybody who supported the campaign through prayers, through your financial support. We started this campaign July 1st through July 31st, again, because that was a period that we had a lot of students who were home. We all know that institutions were closed before the end of the spring, so our international students could not get jobs on campus because everything was closed. They can only work on campus. So we realized that we got information that there were a lot of students who were struggling to barely, with basics, and then most of them could not travel to Kenya. So we started this campaign. We came together. We got together with some like-minded people, and we started this campaign. We had the student leaders, we had the board, a wonderful, wonderful board that was comprised of Professor Ndiang'ui, Dr. Muchai, Dr. Shuri, Anthony Kamnao, Dr. Wanyama, we had Miriam M. And did I forget it with Dr. Ndiang'ui? I think that was a group, the committee that really worked there.
We were 8, yeah.
Yeah, we were 8. So we, at the end, we actually were very purpose to do the campaign for just 1 month. At the end of the month, we were able to raise over $10,000. We actually raised $10,814. We were able to support 31 students, and we funded them between $200 and $500. And we also partnered with the Kenyan, another group that was doing fundraising, the Kenyans in diaspora for COVID. That was under the leadership of, there was a group that was, I'll give you the names, I'm just going blank. But we raised, and through that organization, they were able to fund 7 students. So in total, through my collaboration, because I was on that committee with Tua, with Pablo, Kwitu Lily from Kwitu. So there was a committee, Brenda. So that committee was there, and we were able to support another group. But through that group that I was a member of the committee fundraising, we were able to support 7 students. So in total, through the fundraising efforts that we had, we were able to support 38 international students, and we gave them between $200 to $500. Again, of course, did we finish? Did we accomplish that? No, because we had several applications. We had over 60 applicants, actually 69 to be very specific. So we have some that we were not able to support, again, because we did not raise enough funds. So as we move forward, like I said, this organization, Kesid, is a nonprofit organization that I registered in North Carolina. We have a website, we have a link, we have a PayPal donate. So if anybody's still, actually, we got some donations. We're still taking donations because we would like to continue to support our students. So we're here to really thank our funders. We want to thank everybody who contributed. But I think what really touched my heart was, and I was actually in tears, was when I saw the support from our first generation Kenyan students. And with that, I'm actually going to hand over to Mr. Kelly Chege. Kelly Chege is an American student, he's a Kenyan American student. He was one of our top supporters. Actually, with all the supporters, he was our top funder. And I was really touched because he's a young person, he's a student, but he sacrificed, he went above and beyond to make sure that their fellow brothers and sisters did not struggle. So with that, I'm actually going to hand over to Kelly to just share with us what really, because like I said, he put me in tears because, they gave us a donation of $300, and then he turned it on and sent us another donation of another huge donation. So he was one of our huge funders. But to see a young person who's a student doing that. So we're here to thank everybody who contributed, everybody who prayed. There's still a need. If you're still interested in donating, we're here to support our students all the way. And I'll tell you more about some of the plans that we have ahead.
Awesome. Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, so in terms of giving, it really didn't seem like too big of a deal for me and my brother and my friend when we decided to put this money together to actually give to the students. And it's now come to my realization that a lot of people don't necessarily understand the struggles that people go through when they're in the university or when they're going through school. To an extent, I was able to see these things firsthand as I was going through the university, but I was lucky enough to have citizenship. So what that meant is while I was in undergrad and I was doing my degree, if I didn't have enough money for food or if I didn't have enough money for rent, I could just go and say, get a job at a restaurant being a waiter, which I did for a while I was in undergrad just to be able to pay the bills while I was getting my degree. A lot of these international students can't do that. They're not allowed to work while they're here. They would gladly work, but they're just not allowed to. So in some sense, their hands are tied and they really need the support of their community to be able to get to where they're going. And even as I look at these people who are my age, some older, some younger, they remind me of my parents, because my parents came here and they did the exact same thing. They went through the education system and they weren't allowed to technically have jobs. So they had to lean on their community and lean on other people that could support them. And I think too much as a community, we have a misconception that when somebody's in school, they're doing well. You know, I mean, we like to push people to school so that when people are in school, they can say that their son or their daughter is doing their PhD, and that just means that they're doing well. But in all honesty, that's one of the hardest times in their life, when they're going through undergrad, when they're going through masters, when they're going through PhD degrees. That is a point in their life while they're trying to get to a better level, and they can't necessarily provide for themselves while they're doing that, and they need support to do it. So there are tons of international students who come here on scholarships, and then the scholarships are taken away, or they come here and they were promised one thing and then they didn't get that, and now they're kind of left stranded. And I think it's very important to build a community around them. And it's kind of the same community that I saw that was built around my parents when they first got here, which allowed me to get to where I needed to be.
That is important. I don't know, maybe can we go to Mofat to give us an experience, a personal experience on the challenges that the international students who may not be able to work go through or went through, and what was the feeling when you realized that there are people like Professor Jerono and the other members of Kesid who came up to help?
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. I would like to say that I'm one of the recipients of this given generous donation from the Kenyans here in America. Really, it was a challenging moment for us as international students studying here in America because schools were closed when this pandemic struck, and most of us, or all of us, were only allowed to work in colleges, that is on campus jobs. So it was really a challenge because we were supposed to continue with our studies remotely, pay our bills normally, but in essence, we didn't have any other way of sustaining our stay around. So, on behalf of all the recipients of this given generous donation, I'd like to sincerely thank Professor Jerono and Dr. Ndiang'ui for this given initiative, which was able to support a big number of us. Personally, when I received the check, I felt a big relief, financial relief, because I after finishing my master's at University of Youngstown, I had to relocate to Alabama. So that given the process of relocating from Ohio to Alabama was costly, and this being a new environment, there was much of a need for me to be able to settle down. So the check came at the right time, and I was able to alleviate some given expenses. So the given forum also has played a big role in that we are able now to network through the forum, through the social media platforms that Professor Jerono has created, that's WhatsApp, Facebook. We are able to network as students who are living in this country, and in this way we are able to share, yeah, and know one another across the nation. This has created a very enabling environment where you can be able to know that there's a friend somewhere who is going through this. When you share it, and that it's able to feel like you are
Thank you. We lost Mofat. I know he will come back shortly. But Professor Ndiang'ui, let us hammer this home. And this something that Kelly Chege mentioned about the misconception in our society. There is a misconception in our society that when somebody is an international student or somebody is doing a PhD, he is well up. He is well up there.
That's right. And first of all, before I get to that point, Kelly, I thank you very much, young man. I'm very proud of you. In fact, I want to say this publicly. I had contributed at the beginning, just when the whole process was starting, like $50. But then I saw Kelly contribute more. I said, hey, wait a minute. I had to give a lot more because of you, young man, and your brother, and you challenged many of us. And my son, my nephew here were also there, and they looked at it and they said, because I tell them to apply for anything. Oh, is this another one we apply? No, this one, you follow what Kelly and his brother have done. So they too had contribute. Now, Kelly, let me just get that, because when I was leaving Kenya, and 22 years ago, the feeling was, if you just said to him, just release enough money to fly to America, there'll be money waiting for him. He'll even be giving it back to you. People even borrowed because the young man or young woman gonna get back the money, and it will be in dollars this time. It will not be in shillings. And I have lived long enough, I am telling you, to see that concept, because even as when you're there, you are feeling like, oh yeah, I'm gonna help, I'm gonna be a millionaire, be the one to give. But you get here and you get that big cultural shock to realize the world is not easy. First of all, as an international student, you have to pay about 3 or 4 times like the regular student. You can only work 20 hours getting minimum wage. You have to pay for an apartment. You have to get food. You have to buy books. You have to retain 12 credit hours, otherwise you lose your visa. There are too many forces against you. And remember, people at home are still waiting on you. You don't even have enough money. Your salary is not enough to meet your rent, let alone the books, let alone anything. So a chain process starts. So chances are you even start failing because the exam, the education is not even high up. Food is even more important. Where you stay is even more important. Now, what happens is at the end of it all, you find some students turning to drugs, or turning to anything to live. What happens? The early thought has sometimes been anything stress related. You can name it from suicide to anything. And what we did here is not just the money we gave. When we talk about that belief, Captain, the money is okay. Mofat talked about it. This coming together to know there are people I can turn to cry to. Those students came together, they talked a lot, and they made us feel there is need. When we get together like we are doing right now, and the work you do, Captain, is very important. Highlight the issue. Make the students also realize you're not alone. Suffering comes in all of us, doesn't matter who you are. But if you just hang in there, you will overcome one way or the other. Sometimes when it's dark, you don't even know what will happen to get to the light. But we all go through. It's actually a lesson in life. We don't know when we are in the valley, the mountain seems so far away. And it's only a small hill. You can get out of it. And that's the hope we are trying. And that's why I love coming to this one. Because this is a trumpet of hope. That is a trumpet telling people there is hope. Mofat, my friend, don't give up. And when we reach out to others, it's very, very important. And I'm reading a book. Captain, I just brought it. Do you see it, Captain, here?
Never eat alone.
Never. We all came to look for something, and I know many of our members, many of your viewers are seeing this. There is a lot of reward in whatever you get, sharing it with somebody else. In fact, eating alone is very boring. Share whatever you get and helping a needy person. Chege, can you read this one? Umeona? Inaitwa nini? Never do what? That's what Chege did. Shared it with who? Mofat. Can you read this one?
Never eat
do
alone.
what? Never eat
Never
alone.
eat alone.
Yes, share with others. Hata ukiwa huko Nyalibari chache. Uliona kitu chache. It's eating. Nobody told you to eat alone. So this is the process. My people at home, these young people, whatever you have, let's share. And I'm telling you, the little I shared did not make me poor. In fact, God rewarded me even more. And I'm more satisfied. I enjoy. Chege, whatever you did, Mr. K, you and your brother, goes a long way, not just the money. In fact, it pushed mine too. So, people, whatever the listeners are, think about these as students, not as your money cows, to milk. They need support. Education alone, without all the other things, is hard. It is hard to study, to do that doctorate, like what these guys are doing, that agricultural engineering, or that chemistry, what you're doing more. It's not easy. But we overcome. We went through it. I've got my 5 degrees. I'm not bragging, but every one of them was hard to come by. But I'm proud. Dr. Jerono is the same. We are proud. So the process, I think what we are saying at this stage, Captain, is to demystify. America is not a place where you just get money from the trees. And people in America, please stop eating alone. Support young people. Support all of us. When we support one another, we are better off together. Thank you, Captain.
Thank you so much. Bunny's karaoke. I hope you read. You can read that book too. Mwaura home. Thank you so much. I hope you are enjoying. Anastasia and Jerry says, "Never eat alone." A good one. Hey, that is a good book. Never eat alone.
Yeah.
Now
I can share with them. Yes.
Thank you. Professor Jerono, what drives you to do all this? Sometimes, you're a professor, you're a head of department, you are, you have it all. What is this that pushes that pushes you to come out and sleepless nights and like now you are on a public forum here. What is this that pushes you?
I'm glad you asked. Actually, I was telling Dr. Ndiang'ui, I just got home. I had 10 minutes to get some soup. So I didn't eat alone. I was so tired. I left work and I drove about 40 minutes away. So I left work at around 8 p.m. because I was trying to finish something at work for the students. So I barely made it home. I got here, I got some soup. But I'm motivated because when I came to this country, I came as an international student. And then down the road, I had children. Actually, I came with my daughter, and I was, life happened. I ended up going to school doing my PhD as a single parent. It was not easy. It was rough. I almost gave up. I almost ran away. I was waiting I just wanted the ground to swallow me and my children. It was rough. But I remember through that journey, the people that really came through for me was people from this country. I didn't know a lot of people from the Kenyan community. I remember one lady, and God bless her heart, she passed on. This grandma took care of my kids. She's African American. She took care of my kids so I could work a night job, do everything that I could do. So I struggled. I struggled a lot. But through the struggle, I was motivated. I became more resilient. And I said, you know what? I would hate anybody to go through what I went through. I really hated what I went through. And I did not want anybody to go through what I went through.
Mm-hmm.
So I promised myself that, God, if you let me come through this, whenever I get an opportunity, I'm going to bless somebody. I'm going to pay back. I'm going to pay forward. So that is why I started my program to empower women and youth, and through the youth, again, the outreach to the youth and students and that. Because as a single parent, I struggled. I almost gave up in life. But then once I overcame that, and when I stand now, I look at myself, I'm like, wow, I'm here. I'm an administrator. Who would have ever thought that I would come this far? So I said, God has brought me this far, and I wanted to give back. I wanted to be able to empower women. I want to be able to empower women like me who are going to school, single, who are struggling. Whatever it is that you're struggling, it's not easy. But if I could do it, then anybody. So my message out there is, if I could do it as a single parent raising two girls, if I could go through my PhD by myself, working 2-3 jobs as an international student, anybody can do it. And I wanted to turn to say also students. So when I said I want to be able to pay back and pay forward, because through the struggle, there were people who came through. Because what disappointed me a little bit was I didn't see a lot of the support from our Kenyan community, but at that time there was not a big community.
Mm-hmm.
So then to me, this is an opportunity to share those challenges and to say, yes, there is hope. There is hope. And that's why I joined organizations such as Kenyan Scholars, because through that I was able to network with great scholars. They were able to help me to go through the ranks of, assistant professor all the way to full professor, and now being an administrator. So what I say is, going through my journey, there are people who supported me, and I want to be that person. I want to be that person for the students. So I started the Kenyan students in diaspora, because a lot of our young people are here, like Kelly said.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, shout out to your parents. For those who do not know, Kelly is the son of Dr. And Dr. Karogi, Joe Karogi, the founder of KCFA, and Dr. Mary Karogi. Shout out, you've raised such a wonderful young man, and I'm so proud of you. So those are people who have been there for me. I call your father my big brother. They've been there for me, they've supported, they've prayed through for me. So it's through that we said, yes, we can support one another. Yes, we can mentor these students. So I would get a lot of calls at work about student athletes who are struggling with their scholarship, or where they're trying to pursue their career, but they're being pushed to take another concentration because their coaches want them to have more time. So I was getting calls with students and all this, and I said, you know what? We have every organization in diaspora, but we have nothing for students. And that is my challenge to all of us, is let us support these young people. We keep saying that these are our young leaders. Our young people are the future leaders of tomorrow. When we look at all our organizations, who's going to take over all our organizations? Captain, who's going to take over your TV? You're not going to be here for life. Of course, I want you to live to be 120.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody has to take over. So we have to mentor these young people. We have to prepare. So we are so tight with our little support. And some of our students say that our community ran away from them. They ran away from me when I was a student with children. I would call them and nobody would pick up my call, because they're like, she's calling again. She wants us to help take care of her children. They ran away from me. So our people are I'm not saying they'll do it now, but I remember at that time, no one would pick up my call because I was always begging for somebody to keep my kid, somebody to give me a ride, somebody to, give me some milk, something like that. So I was a beggar, and I remember people were running away from me. And I remember the students were sharing the same thing, is that as an international student, when you call somebody, they always have that fear, oh, you're going to ask for something. And I'm going to stop so somebody else can talk. 2 weeks ago, three of the students who applied, we had a student from Gambia who applied, and I spoke with him, and he said, I wish my people were doing something like that. There was a student from Cameroon. And then last week, there's a PhD student who is from Ghana. We spoke for a long time. And she said, I wish my Ghanaian people were doing this. She said, Mommy, can you be my mentor? I said, yes, I will be your mentor. So people are watching, and they're like, I wish my Ghanaian people are doing this. So people are watching us. So I want to thank all of you. And again, I want to ask you to say, if you are in a community where we have international students, adopt an international student, reach out to an international student. We have so many Kenyan churches, we have so many Kenyan organizations, but how many of you are reaching out to our young leaders, to our young people?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is powerful. Now, to the students, it's nice to listen to the messages, and as we continue, we need to share this with a friend. Some people are there; they're international students. They don't know that there is such a forum. So maybe by the time that we finish this, we'll make sure that we promote this forum so that they can know that there is such a forum. We need each other. That is Dorothy, Lulu, Ruth. Thank you so much for being here. Brian Asante Sana says this is great. Grace Wagura says very inspiring. Zedi Zina, hello people. Grace Wagura, thank you so much. Mwariwawa Home, Asante Sana. Let's continue sharing this so that people can know that there is such a forum. Now, Kelly, there are so many Kenyan students. Let's narrow down to home. There are so many Kenyan students together with Mofat. What is your message to these young men and women who are in school as international students? Not just international students. We are hearing stories of some of them who have given up. Others have committed suicide. Others are into drugs. They have stopped going to school. They have gotten into drugs and alcoholism. It is important to note that as a panel, we can be able to speak to them. And now that you are young and you are in that age bracket, take a minute. Both of you, Mofat and Kelly, take a minute and speak to them so that they can get to an inspiration.
Yeah, the main thing that I would just try to tell people is that mental health is the most important thing out there. So in the sense of, yes, your degree is important and you definitely need to finish, but there's nothing wrong with taking a semester off, or there's nothing wrong with taking a year off. I think a lot of people who are in school are under this kind of pressure to where they feel like if they don't graduate or if they fail a class, then their life is over. And that's not true at all. You can get bad grades, get a C here or there, and you can still graduate. And also on top of that, you don't even necessarily need to graduate to be able to get to where you need to get to in life. So the main thing that I would try to tell people is focus on your mental health, make sure that you're doing well, and just take a look at your surroundings and really try to figure out where you want to go. At the end of the day, a degree is nothing more than a piece of paper. And if you haven't learned what to do with that piece of paper, or if you haven't learned any actual skills, then you won't find any jobs. And then you'll be right back in the boat that you started in, but even worse, because now you probably have some kind of debt. So the main thing is definitely have a plan and don't be too hard on yourself. But honestly, just have fun and don't be too hard on yourself. That's the main thing that I see in school, is that people take it too seriously and they end up just getting into a very bad mental headspace, which puts them into a very bad physical space.
What is the role of your parents or the parents and the community in assisting and shaping the young men and women living in the diaspora, not just the US. We have in Australia, we have in UK, I have friends from UK listening. What is the role of the parents? I want to note that Dr. Karogi, whom I met some years back, has been a great help and inspiration to so many people. So can you speak about that before we come to Mofat?
Yeah, I would say that the role, honestly, is to just open up your children to experiences and to show them what's out there. In the same sense that, so my dad has degrees, but most of his degrees are in theology or in Christian counseling. He didn't necessarily say that I had to go, into theology or Christian counseling, but all he did was show me that school is an option and school can get you to a different location or to wherever it is that you want to go to. On top of that, it's a great networking tool where you meet more people who are also trying to get things done in their life. So the main thing that I would say about the community and the parents as a whole is to just try to expose your children to as many opportunities as you possibly can, whether that's summer camps, whether that's but for instance, one of the big things I know in the North Carolina Kenyan community that we always do is anytime somebody graduates, we always have a very big graduation ceremony. That's something that's very important to show people that that's something that the community is proud of. That's something that the community will actually come together to support and throw money towards and actually celebrate somebody who goes that way. So it's just showing people that they have a lot more options than what the media or what most people would lead you to believe. Because I know even a lot of people tell me they don't want to go to school for different reasons, as they don't want to gain loans, or what they want to do doesn't require a degree. And my answer to that is the loans are insignificant. You always get to pay them back. But even if you don't, there's tons of scholarships and grants. But then on the flip side, even if you don't need a degree to do what you want to do, going to college, you'll be able to network with a ton more people who will then be able to connect you to more people who can help you with what you're trying to do. So it's just, there's so many opportunities out there, and the community has to support people in what they're trying to do while also showing them the different options that are out there.
Thank you. Mofat, you come in as an international student, you are getting into an all new field and new society. Tell us how you are able to deal with the issues that that Kelly just mentioned, the issues of depression, the issues of mental health. Sometimes you feel homesick, you don't have finances, friends.
Yeah, so first I'd like to encourage all international students and even students who are back home that they should keep their hope alive. Personally, I began applying for this scholarship way back in 2015, where I could apply to like 3-4 universities, spending money and get a rejection. But at its divine time, I got 2 admissions. That was in 2018 to the University of Rutgers and Youngstown State University. Meaning that given persistent, that focus on what I wanted at last was able to bear fruit. Now, my parents or the parents have a role to play. I can say that my parents are semi-literate, but they pushed us as the given kids to study without that much of the resource. So even the community, we believe that it should be having a big role in ensuring that the youths in that given community are able to achieve their desired dreams. There's a notion that in Africa or back in Kenya, it's easy for the community to come together and contribute resources for somebody maybe who is dead. But for the case of maybe somebody going to university, it's not easy to raise such kind of resources. But with time, I'm seeing that being reversed, which is quite good and encouraging, so that people are now focusing on the development of the community, because when 1 or 2 people are able to break from that shackles of poverty and gain education, they improve the given village or the given community they come from. Coming here now on the issues of mental health and safety, I say that mostly we have a lot of stress, a lot of pressure from the issue of how you balance your life in school and life outside school. What I can say is keep a network of friends where you share. These friends are able to know that at a given point you need to be able to network properly. This will be a very good chance for you to
Network issues.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Mofat.
Yeah.
You'll be back.
That's all right.
Yes, that's okay. You get
He's
back.
I'm
an
sorry,
international
Mofat.
student. He's an international student. If you were able to give him more money, he would have probably bought a network that is more bandwidth. So,
That's right.
I feel for
Yes.
him. So anyway, let's proceed. We'll continue. We were just talking about a very important issue, and Dr. Ndiang'ui and Professor,
Yes.
I want you to just hammer this gospel home: the role of the society and also the issues of mental health.
Right. Let's get back to that old saying in Africa, anywhere, that it takes the village. It's also simple, but to apply it becomes more difficult. Because, my friends, and I'm telling everybody listening and anybody in Facebook, these are our children. Not all of us may be lucky enough to be like Kelly, where Dr. Kalogi is here and others, or my students, see my children here. But Kelly, you are my child as much as Dr. Kalogi says the same thing. And people is not just biological to be appellant. We are a community. That's how we grew up. People, well, from the African concept, because we are very literal, we had to live as a community. Let's not lose that. And the community, okay, the child may have come thinking is going to the American place where they're going to get all the millions. But when they get here, we all actually started thinking we're going to be millionaires overnight. But when we got here, we started, it doesn't matter how you came. For me, my story is very different from Professor Jerono. I came here as an expatriate teacher. I was hired by Atlanta International School because I was teaching in a school called St. Mary's, and they sent me the tickets and they sent me everything. There was even relocation money. But it did not also take me long to realize that money is not going to last you forever. And I realized, and even when I got my children. But what I feel good about is that I've lived here for over 20 years. I've met very many young people who are in even worse places than the stories I led, and the community came together. But right now, Captain, I want to divert this to turn to the students. Listen, you have to be an advocate for yourself too. I have very many children, and unless you come to me, I don't know whether you have an issue. You have to be open. Tell us, I am going through this. Don't live life alone. My students here in Florida, because I'm the president of the African Network of Southwest Florida, and all the students from Africa are like my children. There are two questions I ask them every now and then when we meet. Who is in the international office? Do you know who the people at the international office? 1, 2, 3. Where is it? Oh, they know. If you don't know, you are in trouble. Next week, you must tell me where the international office is, who is there. That is their work. They get paid for it. What about financial aid office? Do you know who is there? I don't go there. And you here saying you don't have money. Listen, people, this country has a lot of money, but it doesn't come that easily. You have to look for it. I tell my children, yeah, apply for anything. Me, I used to apply for anything. And I'm telling you, at the end, when I was doing my doctorate, that my wife was doing a nurse practitioner, and my son was there, everyone was there, they were giving me a check back because I applied. And my advisor, and the advisor, who's the advisor? My advisor would tell me, please make sure your grades are good all the time. So you'd be able to say, this student from Africa is so good, the grades are very good. And people, People like to help somebody doing well.
Good.
Try to do well as much as you can. Families from Kenya, because I know there are many people in Kenya, give the support that you can, but at the same time, give the students a chance to grow also. Let them become men. If you leave them alone a little bit more to not asking them to give you money, they're not your donors. Help them with the support. They'll become better off when they reach their doctorate. They'll help you even more. Right now, I feel very comfortable in Wadakoine village, building a computer lab there in the village because I can afford it now. I could not have done it so many years ago. My friend, we are a community. Mofat, you may be from Kesid, but you are my child like everyone else. Kelly, you may be Dr. Karogi's son, but you are my son too. I claim you too. And many others listening. We are all together in this captain.
Thank you. And now, Professor Jerono, I want us to proceed on and hammer this gospel of unity for a purpose without the stereotypical mindset of I come from this church or I come from this community.
I'm glad you say that. You know, just like Ndiang'ui, and I like Ndiang'ui. Ndiang'ui, am I also your child now? Ndiang'ui,
Okay, you are adopt you too.
yeah, I like Ndiang'ui because you see, he calls all of them his children. Everybody is his child. He's taken all my children, which is okay. So now we have a father who is the father of all children. And that's the spirit that we have is we are all together in this. Together we succeed. You know, I never see tribe. I don't see color. I don't see anything. I'm just, you know, I grew up with my whole diverse. I went to school in Nairobi. I went to school. All my friends are from everywhere. I have friends from every community. So I don't even think about tribe. I don't, even when I help the students, like I said, I'm helping students from Ghana, from Gambia, from anywhere. Somebody who calls me and I'm able to help, I will do it willingly and gladly do that. You know, one thing that I remember that we were saying is, you know, I remember growing up in Kenya, and I hear this from a lot of the children, now I'm calling them children too. I hear this from some students, I don't want to generalize, but I hear this from a good number of students, especially those who are in Ivy League schools. So I've also been working with that group again. I've gotten a lot of calls. Students are, you know, struggling, mental health, stress. And what some of them would say, hey, this is what my parents gave me 4 career options. One is a medical doctor, law, engineering, or a disgrace to the family. Which is sad because they come in there they go to all these Ivy League schools that the parents have given them. Remember, they have those 4 career options. But the workload is so much and the stress in this country is so much that they cannot deal with that. So that is how we end up with depression and mental health because they're falling back into that 4th career of you are a disgrace to the family. So they are internalizing that to say, I have let my parents down. I have let myself down. I'm a failure. And then everything goes downhill. So what I want to tell all of us is we are all children of God. We are all here together. Together we can succeed. I'm standing here because each and every person helped me. So let us support one another. Parents especially, I'm talking to parents. Please do not force your children to do what they do not want to do. Let them be themselves. I was telling Kelly, I said, let the young people do what they want to do. I like what Mr. Chege said is that his parents did not force them to do, to follow their career path. I never forced my children to go that. I always ask the question, what would you like to do? How can I support you? If somebody needs to take a break, so be it. Let them take a break. This is America. They're here. They have opportunities. But again, we really need to give room and let us support one another as a community. You know, we are more segregated. Unfortunately, we are more segregated on Sunday than any other day in our life. We have Kenya. I don't really go to a lot of Kenya. I don't go to a lot of, there's no Kenyan church that is close to me. But you have all these small groups. We have, even look at organizations that we have in Kenya. How many organizations do we have? We have 1,000,001 organizations, diaspora, this. But what happens? How about if we came together? How many Kenyans do we have? We have so many Kenyans in this country. If each and every person gave $10, we would have supported these students with $1,000, $2,000. But people did not want to do that because they're like, oh, my child does not need that. My child does not need it. So we are so segregated, we are so diverse, we are so divided. And if it doesn't affect you, and that's why I was really touched. Kelly knows that as soon as he sent me them, I was in tears because I was so touched that he didn't have to do that. He's a Kenyan American. He has citizenship. He has everything he can do. But he actually, they got together and they supported because they saw the need. If all of us, if Kelly and his brother and Brian have not motivated you, have not empowered you, I don't know what else would empower you to do that. You know, I like the young people because our young people do not see race. Our young people do not see tribe. Our young people do not see region. Our young people do not see Jubilee or Matangatanga or these other things that we all follow. But our young people are so united, and they're so united in purpose. So I'm just begging our Kenyan communities to say, yes, we have such a big need. We have over 4,000 Kenyan students in diaspora. There are quite a number of students who are in need. There are quite a number of students who are in need of mentoring. One thing that I would say to our students is, let us stay connected. Any international students, or if you know an international student somewhere, please connect them. There's so much that we can do together. And I'm going to give you the last example. There's so much that we can do together. When I was in this country, and Dr. Ndiang'ui can identify with that, when I was going up for my tenure and promotion, I was doing very well in all the other sectors, publication, surveys. I've got all these awards. But I remember when I went to my dean, everything was perfect. To me, it sounded that they had to look for a mistake. He said, well, you are not a leader in any organization at the national level. I looked at her, I said, I'm a Kenyan. Nobody knows me. Who's going to vote me to be in their organization? Mm-hmm. I left out of that office, and she says, well, if you don't get any leadership in a national organization, you're not going to get tenure. I left that office crying. I went to the internet, I Googled every African, everything Kenyan. That's how I found Kenyan Scholars and Studies Association. The next month, I was on my way to that conference. When I got to that conference, they said, we need volunteers. I said, I volunteered to be a representative, and that is why I'm the president now. If I didn't do that, I would not have got my tenure, because I said, no American knows me. So when I went up for tenure, Professor Ortiz, who was the president, gave me a support letter to say, yes, I'm serving at an international organization. So I'm telling our young people, we need one another. You never know when we're going to need each other. We need each other in the community. So again, join these organizations. Let's support one another, and let's continue to pray and to stay together as a community. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can I address something on that? Because as Professor Jerono talks, it touches me. Because every time she's like my sister, seriously, in many ways.
Very good. And as you do that, as you address that issue and make sure that it doesn't evaporate, I want Kelly to prepare himself to address the Kenyan community from his stand, from his eye view, because from his eye view, he can see quite a lot. He can be able to connect with the Kenyans who are young, old, Gekoyo, Gedogo, English speaking, vernacular speaking. There's something that he can speak to them about, the importance of coming together. Let's proceed, Dr. Ndiang'ui.
Yes. I was talking about my relationship with Dr. Jerono, who I consider those people are your friends. She's my sister. We are in many organizations together, and so good. Woe unto anybody who will tell me, oh, she's not from your tribe.
Amen.
Because that would be a shame. You don't know what you'd miss out. What I'm trying to say is this. Oh, by the way, let me rephrase that. I am very proud to be from Madakwani village. I am very proud of my accent to have been born in Nyeri. I've been very proud to be where I grew up as a Kikuyu. I can never be shy of that. That's who I am.
Yeah.
But so I want Mofat to be proud because everybody else, because that gives you a cultural background. But that does not mean that I do not respect everybody else and appreciate everybody else and admire what everybody else compliments to what I know and brings that to me. In fact, I'm not just talking about tribes, even Nemuhindi, even Muzungu, everybody. Because the more I reach out, the more my inadequacies are reduced and I become fuller and better and better. That nonsense of tribes, and I hope Kelly, listen, my friends, that's childish. You are still who you are from Kemedia de Klinyara. Retain that. But don't forget, even people from any corner of the country or any corner of the world are the ones who can help you a lot more. That thing has eaten us up. And one, as Kelly talks after this, I want to talk about the process we went through because we need to be transparent. How did we, were we able to distribute the 31 students and the other 7, the 8 students? How are we able to arrive at that? I want to allude to that to show the transparency is very important and the tribal nonsense does not come into play. Respect your own, but remember there are others too who are very strong. Let Kelly just talk. I love that young man.
Yes.
Wait, Mofat, yes.
Yes, yes, we do.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know too much about the tribalism, and I don't really understand it. But one thing that I was able to see pretty quickly that happens within the Kenyan community, even here in America, is the fact that we compete with each other. And I think that's a real big issue because being here in America, there's so few of us to only be competing with each other puts yourself in such a small pool already that you're competing to the king of. And so, that's where you see people coming over here and say starting a restaurant and they're making money. Then everyone's like, okay, they're making money. I should start a restaurant too, instead of supporting them. And then both restaurants end up failing because there's not enough customers. So the main thing that I would just try to say is that we honestly, we need to come together in the sense of, I've seen that we come together. We come together for funerals. We come together for weddings. We come together sometimes to support people for education. But I have yet to see us come together to build a business together. And I think that is actually something that the Kenyans in America need to start doing. The parents need to start pushing their children to be more entrepreneurial and not necessarily just worrying about the degrees. And there's so much money here. I think y'all said it before. There's so much money here to be had, as long as you just actually go through the right hoops and actually set up the right structures or actually register your business or make it happen. So I think one place I would really like to see our Kenyan community get to is to where we can have these kind of meetings that we're having now, but say we're doing it to show people how to fix their credit, how to get a business loan, how to start their own business, versus when they actually do get it started, they can come to us for funding. We need to build essentially a Kenyan American bank or a Kenyan bank. And that's the one thing that I'm seeing us really lacking on, is coming together in an economical sense.
Amen.
That is very good, and I hope that we are listening. This conception or misconception that has come with the young people, we are bringing up young children, but we are spending so much time investing back in Kenya, buying plots and building. And we forget that these young children, their future is not in Kenya. They even cannot relate. Can you speak to that about that briefly, Kelly, before we go to Professor?
Yeah, so it's the issue that I think for a lot of older people, they need to invest in something that they can go and stand on and actually see. So when you talk about investing in an idea, it's nothing that you can actually grab or touch or make tangible. So it's a little bit hard for them to understand. So the one thing that I would tell the parents is if you in any way expect your children to take care of you when you get older, then you need to invest in them now when they're younger, because then you can actually say that line of, I invested in you, could you invest in me? Versus the other thing that I would say is start talking about retirement. I think there's this weird thing that I see in Kenyan families, to where if you start to talk about health or life insurance or possible retirement, they're going to be like, oh no, let's not talk about that. Are you trying to kill me or something? Are you trying to take my money? I'm going to be here forever. That's not the truth of things. So I think if parents can start talking to their children about retirement and tell them, hey, in 10 years, I'm not going to be working, and I might need support from you. Together, y'all could come together to try to figure something out, versus you know, all of a sudden you now need help from your children, and they don't really have the money, and then you never really supported them in what they were doing. I think the parents need to give a level of vulnerability to their children. One of the things that I'll say is that us as your children, we have to understand you. So we know who you are, and we understand you, and we know what you like, we know what you're doing, but you never had to understand us. So that's something that it's going to be a little bit difficult for parents to do, but it will really take your family further if you actually take the time to figure out where your child wants to go, how you can support them, and then also tell them how they can support you in the later parts of your life.
That's deep. That's deep. Professor, you have brought up children, and not only you as, but also Kesid. You know, there's so much going on. Children think that our parents don't understand us. Now we have moved beyond the international students, but even our very own children here in the U.S. who are going through so much. Parents don't understand them. They are being treated like the way they used to be treated back home, or we want to treat them like the way we were brought up. When I made a mistake, there is a way that Mama Geshoke dealt with me. So Jerry may not understand that language right now. And today we are dealing with so much. Let me give you a story. In my village yesterday, there's a young woman who is in her late 30s, and she had a domestic issue with the husband, and she ran back to her mother's house with 2 children. The mother gave her money and told her, hey, go and sort issues out. That girl didn't go back to the husband, but she went to a dam and dumped herself right there with her 2 children. These things are happening. There's so much going on. So anyway, speak, Dr. Professor Jerono.
That was deep. That is deep. That is a deep one. And, you know, I will speak here, and I'm not ashamed. I'm a survivor of domestic violence. So I can identify with that. It is rough. It gets, let me tell you, don't ever blame somebody for doing that. I actually, when you say that, I don't blame that lady. It is very easy to do that. I was very close to that. Because it gets to a point where you feel like, this is it. I can't do it no more. And people will be very quick to judge you. Quick, especially our community. They will be very quick to say, oh, this is a problem. So what I want to say is we have to be very, very sensitive. Again, going back to the community, let us support one another. We are our own enemies, but we really have to be very sensitive and listen to one another, be there for one another, and not judging. Especially during this season of COVID, we've had a lot of statistics out there saying that the incidences of domestic violence divorce are very high. There's a lot that is going on in this houses. There's a lot that is going on. There's a lot of pain. But I really wish that we as a community can really support one another more, can listen to one another and be there for one another, especially those single parents. I'm not saying we also have, married couples who are dealing with issues. So I'm calling upon all the pastors and all those who are counselors to really listen and be on the lookout, look for those stresses, and let's be there for one another. In terms of raising children, it is not easy. It is not easy raising children, especially Kenyan American children who are American, who are in this culture. They think American, they act American, they do things. It's not been easy. I have the greatest kids, but it's not easy. They'll make fun of my accent. They'll make fun of the way I do things. The other day they were counting. They said I have 39, and actually they counted. I have 39 rugs in this house. I like little carpets. They actually counted and they said, Mommy has 39 pieces. So things like that but I've actually had to learn that I have to listen to them. I make dates with my girls. I make appointments with them. I don't instruct, but I listen. So I've learned to listen more and not talk and not say and not yell, because yelling can't get you anywhere. So make time for your children. Like Kelly says, invest in them. Be there. You know, a lot of us want to work doubles, my doubles, my doubles, my doubles after doubles. But you're gonna lose that time. That time with your children is very, very priceless, especially this young generation where they're struggling, they stress, they're struggling with identity between Kenyan and between this country. So make time for your children. Listen. Listen, I can't emphasize that. Listen to them. Watch for those signs when they're stressing, when they're doing work. So these days I've learned to listen more. And I do that even at school, is I've learned to listen, that there's so much power in listening for those signs and looking at what is going on and being a supporter to say, what can I do to support you? He said, do this, you have to do this. So I just want to say, making time, investing in them, making time for them, giving them guidance. I was having a conversation yesterday. I had a very good conversation with my youngest daughter, and it was a very good conversation at dinner. And she made a comment. She says, Mommy, I wish I listened earlier. She said, I wish I listened earlier to you about this. It was something that was talking, but she said, I really wish I listened earlier to you. But it's okay. I said, it's fine. That's okay. You didn't do that, but it's not too late. So, but I've learned is that even when people call me, I said, as soon as I get home, you're not picking up your phone. I said, I got to put up my phone. I got to put it down and listen if my child wants to talk. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying to really be there. And be a support, and even supporting these young people, supporting our students, supporting our international students, because they all need one. And I've told them they all have my cell phone. You need to talk to me. You need to call me. Call me. I'm here to listen. Ndiang'ui knows, he calls me day and night.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want us to get to a process of winding up. And as we wind up, I know Mofat had an issue with his signal. I hope that it is clear now. I know there was a slight feedback. Mofat, I guess it is now sorted. But before I give... Can you raise up yourself a bit? I want to see you. There we go. Yes.
We wanted to share something that is very important.
Yes. We are coming to that because we want to know about the whole process. I want to give Mofat a minute to just say something because his signal is getting lost. So in case it gets lost, he will not feel absent.
Yeah, thank you so much. I was on my cell phone and my signal kept on getting bad and coming back. I'm saying that this given show has really taught me a lot.
Thank you.
Listening from these experienced professors who have gone through this route that I'm currently going through. I've really taken note of what they're saying, and I believe that through this kind of forums that you are creating, people are getting to learn more and be able to really appreciate the life that you're living. So thank you so much for this given opportunity.
Thank you. And so very soon, I know we are taking the Dr. Mofat to Kesid to say hello and take the degrees, the doctor, all those devils there, and to inspire those people who you left back there sometimes. And I don't know what you need to tell your Kesid brothers and sisters who are listening. Most of them are in Arlington, others in Texas. In Texas, here I am, and we have others in Minnesota. I went there, and there are so many people there from the Kesid community, and I love them so much. I have some of them who are my very personal friends. What is your message to your Kesid community right there? If you want to mention a word in a Kesid language, I want you to do that.
Thank you so much. So I'd like to say that this is a time, especially this given pandemic, that you're supposed to come together as a community, be able to support one another. Amidst all these given challenges, with the churches closed, Still, we need to turn back to God, have a time, have a moment with your God, be able to read the Bible, listen to some gospel music, and be able to pray. As a community, let's be able to reach out to one another across this given diverse nation and be able to support such a kind of given forums that the given experienced professors, Jerono and Dr. Ndiang'ui, have created. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Dr. Ndiang'ui, I know
Yes,
you
sir.
want to share something. And before you share something, because I know after that we might not have a lot of time, let us know how you spent the money and how you distributed the money. And what is the request that or the appeal that you send out there, not only to the Kenyan community members, but even to the leaders, because we have some community leaders, we have the government leaders out in Washington, and now we have a new ambassador, by the way.
Right. Oh, thank you so much. But before I just get to that, Kelly, I just cannot help this one. Thank you so much. Kelly points out about the economic power. So long as we are all growing at economic power, we will be good. And I want to say this, and Captain, I hope one of these days you'll give me a chance. I am in Southwest Florida here. Besides teaching, I get a builder. He built for me a house for $180,000, and then I sell it immediately for $240,000. One house. I build only 2 in a year. That gives me enough money to keep going besides my teaching salary. That's how I can afford to give some money here. If people want to know how we do it, it is easy. It can be done. Besides investing in Kitagera and anywhere else. But let me get this right. The process, I'm sure there are many organizations trying to raise money for these students. And that is very good, and we love it. But many people are worried sometimes because the process is not clear, because what we're getting, you are just looking for money to enrich yourselves. Please, I beg anybody listening and anybody who will get to this, because I know you're recording it, don't you ever try to say you are helping students because of COVID or something, and then you try to enrich yourself. Shame on you. The process Professor Jerono put in place and the committee was very clear. We were 8 people. Professor Jerono was not involved in the whole workings in everything. Patrick Mose received all the applications after we all agreed on the application questions. He knew who is there, who is applying, and where they're coming from. He deleted everybody's name. And whatever they are saying, wherever they are coming from in Kenya and wherever they are. Then it was given, those applications which are blind were given to me and Professor Mushai. We went through them. I was ranking them 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 being a must, 4 being questionable, and Mushai was brightly ranking them A, B, C, D. So the 2 of us get together, and then Miriam was from Idaho, would take all that and say 1A looks valid. Everyone is the one, I said the most needed. I think more like Mofat must have been 1A, 1A, or A1, like that. Then we would say, okay, if you are D4, the last one, so we don't, that one, keep it aside. So Miriam would look at that. And then we came in, Wanyama, Shuri, and Kamnao. They come in and say, let's look at the process once again. Remember, we have no names. I was very curious to know who is this with this story, because the stories were deep and we let them all. So they go through that, they vet them all, and then finally it is given to Professor Jerono. And that's how she was able to arrive. This is from Cameroon, because she led a little bit more, and we had given that one or this one from Gabi or from whatever. Then finally, we arrive at the numbers, and it's only after that that Mose would be able to reveal when writing the check. That's when you know whether it was a man or a woman or wherever they came from. Please, at every step, it was being reported. So much money is being raised, so much money. The students have contributed, all this. Make a transparent process so that people can trust. We are going on to phase 2 very soon. We're going to launch phase 2 because we are only able to support at least about half. We had over 70 applicants. We were supported 31 students and 7 more. We had 38. So we still have so many A1 or, B2 or B3, they are very needy. We need to give them two. There's some money coming in. We just get to the next student, and we are going on like that. It's a very transparent process, and we thank everybody who supported us. And anybody who would like to know, we are going to release the report now that we have given all the checks. We are going to release the report very soon so that people see that process. But we want to support and tell everybody, I don't need any shouts money. It is part of my tithing anyway. And I don't think Professor Jerono or anybody there, we are happy with what we have. God gives us and God blesses us to give more. Please, if you're doing this, helping students, don't try to enrich yourself. Shame on you if you're trying to get money for children who are struggling. If you read these stories, you know how deep this is. If you're trying to get, don't give it, dear, but do it in a transparent manner. Thank you, Captain, for highlighting this. Thank you for giving me a chance to explain the process. And I know my buddies in the community were there. And Professor Jerono will not interfere. If she came in, she will not. She just keeps quiet. That's the one time she would be told, that's not your business in any stage. But we came in.
Actually, let me correct something. Let me correct something real quick. What happened was the whole committee voted, so we only had 1A, 1B, and Dr. Michai will sort out and say, these are the first 30 students. He will send those 1As to Dr. Mose, who will reveal the names. So I'll just tell Mose, give me the names so I can write checks. So I had no idea who was. So I just got the names. Dr. Mose sent me the names, and with the addresses, of course, we had to get the A20. We had to make sure we had evidence and proof. So even now, if I get additional money, I'm just going to call Dr. Michai. I say, Dr. Michai, who is the next one online? Dr. Michai will send the 1A or 159B to Dr. Mose. Dr. Mose will reveal the name. So it's very, very transparent. It's very transparent. We did not look at tribe. We did not look at who. We just looked at the needs. And if you still can support, we would love you to support, because we still have a list of students who are waiting.
Thank you
I would be remiss. Let me say one more thing, Captain, and I will be quiet. I would be remiss if I do not thank my prayer warriors, Global Radio Network, Global Prayer Network, with Reverend Grace Como, with Lawrence Bogwa, with Pastor Jane. They were prayer warriors who've been getting up every morning at 5 a.m. to pray. They have prayed for this process. So I want to thank my sisters, my prayer warriors, that we pray every morning, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. We're still back on our knees, and we pray that God will help us to support the remaining students. Thank you, my community. I love you. Help us to support our young people and to love on these young people.
Thank you so much, Professor Jerono, and I hope that you will introduce the prayer warriors to the trumpet of hope, so that they can have, hey, Wednesdays we are supposed to have, these women of purpose, ladies who have stories that they have gone through and they have come out victoriously. So when you meet with them, say hello to them. And as we conclude, those people who would want to participate in Kesid, either as students or even as for support, even emotionally. I had some people who would even accommodate. I remember last time we talked, there was somebody who said she could accommodate a student somewhere. So what is the process?
So if anybody still wants to support, we have a Kesid Foundation. That is a cash square at Kesid Foundation. They can still send the money. If they're interested in supporting or hosting a student, they can call me. My number is, we even have a Kesid number, 336-615-1558, and we can direct them and let them know where the students are, because we have a WhatsApp group, we have a Telegram group, we have a Facebook, so we can always request them to say, hey, what city are you in? Do you need support? So just tell them to reach either me or Professor Ndiang'ui, and we'll be able to work with Mofat and Mr. Chege, who's been an amazing Chege. We have Kelly, Kevin, and Brian. I just love this young man.
Thank you so much. So please, Kelly or Mofat, you can share those numbers because I was not able to write them down. You can share them down there, or rather, you can write them in one of the. Okay, I saw the church. There's the Kesid Foundation. Then the contacts, so that people can be able to, there are people who can be able to assist in one way or the other. Very good, thank you. Now, Kelly, I want to come to you so that you can say some few words as we close, as we wind up. We have about 2 minutes.
Yeah, I guess it's really just the main thing that I've been saying the whole time is it's about building community. And I think through Kesid, I also realized how many Kenyan students there are here in America that I just didn't even know and I've never interacted with, versus the amount of different subgroups of students we have. And I think going forward, Kesid definitely needs to build an area or a platform for all of us to be able to communicate with each other, to even be able to bring students over here and show them the opportunities that are over here, as well as support students when they get over here. I think a lot of people sometimes that I've met come over here and they just got accepted into school, or they just got a scholarship or a fellowship, and they just come over here and that's all they knew. They didn't really know anybody. They just knew they got accepted, so they came over here. I think we need to try to market and promote ourselves a little bit better to kind of create some kind of welcome committee for any Kenyans that do come over here to the United States and actually do try to pursue education opportunities over here, just to show them that it isn't as hard if you go at it with a team and not by yourself.
Thank you so much. Mofat.
So I'd like to say thank you for the given opportunity. It has been really a good chance of learning and being able to share. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Dr. Ndiang'ui, yes. I know we'll call you later so that we can talk about building and buying and investing in that industry. It's a nice industry. Somebody looked at you, Bernice, who is our CFO. Bernice is our Trumpet of Hope CFO. She's the one who takes care of our bills and make sure that we pay the bills and the internet and the softwares and everything. So, and you can see her numbers are running down there, the 240-575-043-7, something like that, because we need to make sure that we do all this. But
is she the one who called me a senator?
Yeah, she's the one who called you a senator.
Oh, very good. Thank you very much.
She said that Dr. Ndiang'ui is looking like a senator. I'm
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I got some votes already,
And you mentioned that you're building a computer lab in Madak Waine.
Yes.
That is very good.
I'm very proud. I've got 6 computers. It's light in the rural areas. It is deep, and it has helped those kids at least learn some computer work, the elementary school. And I am so proud of that, because let me tell you, we grew up very poor. But from that, because the community came to support us, that's how we are. There are some of those kids who can even be much more than Jerono or me if they get the support. But can I say something else? Is that what you wanted me to say to the last word?
Yes, I want you to say a last word and say hello to Mrs. Ndiang'ui.
Captain,
yes.
You asked me a question and I did not respond. Just 1 second. You said what is our ask for our community leaders, and what is our ask for our leaders in Kenya? I have one thing, and Dr. Ndiang'ui and I have been talking about this.
Yes.
We've been in conversation with the Kenyan Embassy. They've been extremely supportive, and we want to thank the Kenyan Embassy. We're still working together with our student leaders, Chege, Mofat, and the committee. We're working very closely with them to see how we can continue to support the students. But I ask from our Kenyan leaders and those of you who have connections in Kenya, our MPs, our members of parliament, we need them to vote. In 2016, 2017, our President Uhuru Kenyatta gave the directive for the Kenyan government to fund help loans for international students, for diaspora students. These students are Kenyan students. They cannot get any funding outside their country. So he passed the directive and said we need the help loans that Kenyan students get should also be accessible to Kenyan students in diaspora. Up to today, it was passed. A budget has not been created. We have been working very closely with the CEO of HELP. We have spoken with the people from Parliament. I actually spoke with Florence, who is now the chair of the Education Committee in the Kenyan Parliament. I spoke with the CS Matiang'i. So we've spoken with some governors. So we've had all these conversations. What we are waiting for is, as soon as Parliament resumes, we need Parliament to vote on that so that they can allocate a budget. Please talk to your members of Parliament. We need them to allocate a budget so that in case of emergencies like this, students like Mofat can actually take a loan, and at least that would cushion them until something else comes forward. So that is our ask for my Kenyan leaders. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are getting final closing remarks from the two of you so that we can finish. Thank you very much, Mofat. Thank you very much, Kelly. It was wonderful. Hey, say hello to Dr. Karogi and Mom and the people from North Carolina. I have a beautiful, beautiful team here. Mama Manasseh and all the others. Dr. Kehoros and Dr. Gashengeshi and all the other team there. One thing that I like about North Carolina is that it's surrounded by doctors, everybody there. You visit this house, there's a Dr. So-and-so, Dr. So-and-so, Dr. So-and-so. I'm like, okay. That is very, very, very good. We are so proud of you. So, Professor Ndiang'ui, closing remarks.
I was just saying, back to Chege and Mofat, you guys are such amazing. Chege made a statement, I want to repeat. Children have the right to understand the parents. Parents, please, we are going through a cultural evolution. Understand these children. Listen to them. Not just when they're going through problems. You're going to avoid problems if you communicate and if you learn to listen. Don't just tell them. They also have something to tell you.
Sure.
And all the students, my last word to you for now, please reach out. But also know, I like Romans chapter 5, verse 3. It is through suffering that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character. Character produces hope. Hang in there. Reach out to other people. That suffering you may be going through will be part of your big story later on. Kelly, if you listen to your story and that of Dr. Kalogi are very different. He came from far in Kimende and wherever they came from. And that's how they came to build someone like you. And that, hang in there, my friends, we will succeed. We will overcome. I'm an eternal optimist and we'll get it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I wish you all the best. Professor Jerono, you are the president of all this. You started it all, and I give you an opportunity to tell us kwaheri. And Brian mentioned something here, powerful words, Kelly. I would add that Jeremiah 29:11 has grounded me in both my faith and mental health. We have to encourage our youth to continue to trust in God and what He has in store for them. Josephine Mwangi following. Kesid, keep up the good work. Wash hands, Captain. This is great. Thank you so much, Josephine.
Thank you, Josephine.
Ronco Williams, in fact, I'm getting something very special today. Okay, that is Ronco Williams is in Masai Mara Game Reserves. That's where he works. Samuel Wagura, thank you so much for your message and all the other messages. That's true. People need to focus on their shift to America, where you are. And he says something that as parents, when I get old, my son won't have time to go to Kenya and get my plots money and come back here to take care of me. I believe investing here for retirement is a good thing also. Stella Mosetti, listening to children is very important. Dorothy Lulu, transparency is key. Jennifer Nduta Nding'ui says that was powerful. Great job, guys. Thank you. Professor Jerono, close for us.
Thank you so much. I want to thank everybody who has really contributed and who continues to support our students. I want to thank my board members, Dr. Ndiang'ui, Dr. Muchai, Dr. Shure, Kamnao, Dr. Wanyama, Dr. Mwangi, and all members, Dr. Theuri, and they're just wonderful. We have a great team that we're here to support our students. Please join us to support these students. We are here to mentor the students. We're here to create network for the students. We're here to create opportunities for the students. We're here to link our students to resources. Down the road, we are hoping that we can get more funds, more grants. We are waiting for a 501c3 so we can get more grants so we can support students like Mofat and Kelly to do research, to do service, to do whatever they want to do in our community. So again, the opportunities are limitless. If you have any students, please connect them to us so we can work with them. Again, thank you so much, Captain. We appreciate what you're doing, giving us this platform. We really appreciate. Thank you, everybody. God bless. And Jeremiah 29:11 is my favorite verse. I have plans for you to be your hope in the future. And to the young people, Timothy, do not let anyone look down upon you because you are young. The good Lord has great plans for you. And just remember that people like I and Professor Ndiang'ui, we're here to love on you, to support you, to pray you through, and to just see you every way of your career. Been there, done that, and we love you, we appreciate you, and we're here for you. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you so much. I wish you all a wonderful moment. Say hello home. Mofat, I don't know whether there is anybody there to say hello to. So you can...
did you tell me to say hello to Mrs. Ndiang'ui? You had sent me.
Yes, I said you say hello to Mrs. Ndiang'ui.
Oh yes, I will do that. She's
yes.
To the wing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Jerono, my brother Kelly. I wish you all a beautiful, beautiful moment, even as you you retire. And remember, Trumpet of Hope. Hey, before you people guys go, make sure that everybody and your friends they subscribe to the YouTube channel of the Trumpet of Hope. That is where that whole program is. So subscribe to the YouTube channel Trumpet of Hope, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Coach.
All right.
Thank you. Okay. Asante sana.
Thank you so much. I wish you the best. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.